Hi, welcome back to another fake true stories of landscape. So today we were weed eating and cutting Perdido Gate, which is at the end of Canal Road, when a giant robot emerged out of the ocean and started climbing its way onto land. And of course, I just I had about enough, so I threw my weed eater down gently. And I was like, what is this nonsense? Can't I go a single day without seeing something crazy? And immediately, a swarm of bees shot past me and tried to stop the giant robot. I mean, the robot must have been 50 feet tall because it made the houses look small. And Eddie came over and he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "No, I'm not all right. This is mentally exhausting," I told him. And he said, "Okay, so you're cool." And he just went on and started trying to attack the beast, or the machine. It was no use. I mean, he would hit it, and he would dent it, but it did nothing. And so eventually it tried to put its foot down on Eddie, and Eddie was holding it back up with his mighty strength. I mean, the guy's 6'5" and 285 pounds, and he must have some super strength to hold down the hydraulics. And Eddie did this kind of whistle, and all I heard was this boom, 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 boom. It was like a little earthquake coming closer and closer to me, and I looked over, and there Dalton was at 7'8". But today he was wearing his fireman's helmet and garb, and whenever he did that, he seemed more intelligent. Probably because he wasn't thinking about fishing. And yeah, but then he would only ever say, firefighting and stuff about firefighting, and he took off right past me and right into the machine. And not only did he knock the machine over, but he hit it so hard that it flipped over him and slammed into the ground. And the whole thing is just kind of, blurry, but then he took this giant axe out and just started wailing onto the machine. But every time it hit it, it really just dented it. It didn't even cut into the steel. It must have been some massive amount of steel. But after a couple minutes, the machine started trying to get up, and Dalton looked like he was getting just enraged, so he grabbed the arm and ripped it off, and Eddie went up into the armhole and pulled out this little Asian man. And he was very upset, this Asian man was. And he said, I don't know what he said, and I'm not going to try to mimic his accent because it would sound terribly racist of me, but it sounded like two alley cats fighting for the domain that they were in the alley. That's what the accent sounded like. And I was like, "Eddie, what's going on?" And Eddie said, "It's the North Koreans." I said, "Wait, so that's what all the stars were about?" And then out of nowhere, off to my left, two more of these machines emerged out of the ocean and through the houses. And I looked over there, I was like, "Well, what about those guys?" Dalton and Eddie immediately went over to battle with them, but there was two of them, so they were completely outmatched. Even Dalton. Dalton, is immensely strong, so he was able to hold them back as much as he could, and the bees were doing nothing. And then I heard this revving of an engine, and here comes we drive this Hemi, and here comes this Hemi, and it's skidding around on two wheels, and it lands, and out immediately pops Kyle Cooper, Ryan Owen, our boss John Davis. And they're furious. Immediately, Kyle Cooper takes out his blades and goes and tries to help Eddie. Ryan Owen does like this verse from the Bible, and pulls back his cloak or his coat and starts unloading. And I'm talking about an unusually high amount of shells into the robots. He even pulled out Stinky Justice, and John, assessing the situation, puts on his helmet, but this time he turns into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, albeit a blue and orange Tyrannosaurus Rex, and tries to help out Dalton. And they do a good job. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was actually able to knock one of them over, And Kyle with his blades, they must have been super sharp. They cut right into a portion of it, and Eddie was able to get inside, and Dalton was able to rip another arm off of the other one, and Ryan was able to go in there, and then we just had these three Asian guys just sitting around, and you know, they were doing their little talk, but Ryan spoke the language, and he came over and he said, "It's not good." And I said, "What's going on?" He said, well, he looked over at John. He said, "John, can I tell him?" And John said, "Listen, we know you're new to the landscape, and but we've been training for years for this." I said, "Training for years for what?" And they said, "We're here to protect. We're here to protect the King of Orange Beach." I said, "What is the King of Orange Beach?" And they said, "Well, we can't talk about it. But just know that you are in a serious situation involving the North Koreans." I said, "The North Koreans? This is crazy." And then, out of nowhere, behind me, were these three other robots trying to come up out of the water. And then Eddie, he's like, "I got this." He turns to them, and he lifts his right eyebrow up, and he gives them this look. And it's like time stopped. They froze in their position. They were like cemented in place. And when I saw it, I froze too. I mean, it was as if all my bad feelings had disappeared. And when I woke up, you know, Eddie's like, "Are you okay? Did you look at it? I'm sorry, I should have warned you first." And they were still just sitting there, but Dalton was trying to rip pieces of one of them off, and John was trying to bite a hole into one, and Kyle was helping him out, and Ryan had pulled an even larger weapon out. I don't know where it was from, but it was some sort of rifle pistol, and he was actually blowing chunks off of one of the robots. And then I saw this guy, and I didn't even realize he was a part of the landscape. But he came up, and he was riding on a surfboard, and his name is Jeff Collin, and he brought this giant wave with him, and it smashed the three robots together and destroyed them. And he brought another three Asians and put them down in front of us. And he said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up? You were surfing?" And it's like, "Yeah, man. You know, had to do some surfing." I said, "Okay." And they discussed something, and John came up and he said, This is the first step." First step to what? First step to an invasion of Orange Beach. That's it. You guys have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. Actually, if you're on Facebook, there's a button that says like and share. If you go back to your Facebook, just hit like and share. And you guys have a great day. Be happy. Check out my wife, Russian Girl. She's starting to get very popular with Russians. So, yeah. And to all my South Korean friends, you guys have a great day. Asedinye, which means I think I love you. Yeah.